Like it actually kind of disarms people when you like swear, and
Hmm.
it'd be cool if you like came on the podcast. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna swear on the podcast.
Scandalize the
Yeah,
children.
totally. But that was like
Yeah.
day like one of the trip.
Hmm.
So I hadn't even like really spent much time with them. But um anyway, yeah, then we like went and recorded like a whole Lenten series on the podcast. So this is actually like the last time I've recorded any sort of like podcast.
Okay, but you've done it before.
Yeah,
So
so I kind of know, I mean, I don't know, it's just like um yeah, it's one of those things that's like better done kind of naturally than being like, and it's cool because I don't know how many like viewers you guys have or like listeners, but
I don't know either.
yeah.
Tom knows.
Uh,
Tom knows our stats.
Yeah.
I try to ignore.
I mean, if you count everyone, probably at a few thousand.
Oh, sweet.
So,
That's awesome.
Hmm.
Yeah.
but
That's also given me a lot of respect for the some of the content I see that's like 20,000 views.
Oh, it's insane.
And you're like, fish fry, right?
Yeah, totally.
And then you put up a video and it gets like 300 views. And you're like, oh my gosh, 300 people. 300 people
I mean,
thought we were worth listening to.
it's a lot
And then
for,
you think 20,000 views. You got to respect
yeah,
20,000 views.
yeah, dude.
And then you got to realize what 50 million views is.
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what makes, are we recording?
Are we?
Sweet.
Oh,
Nice.
we're live?
10%.
Oh, dang. Nice.
I love it. Um, yeah, I mean that's what makes me respect like Joe Rogan, for example, because he can, I mean, he just listens super well. And I think that's the mark of like a good podcaster, somebody who's like, who can ask good questions, but also like, I can't remember where I heard this, but um, somebody said something along the lines of like, you can, if you can find what somebody worships, then you can like basically talk to them forever about like that thing. And like it just lights them up. And I think that's one thing that a lot of the good podcasters do is they just like find what the people worship and like just kind of roll with it. But yeah,
What do you mean by worship?
I mean, um, yeah, like I guess maybe a better way to phrase it is like, what's the why underneath what people are doing?
Uh-huh.
Um, like I think just as a counterexample or like the opposite end, because I've like done a lot of exploration of different podcasts. And one day I was like following my cross country coach on Strava, this like high school cross country coach, and he's still on Strava, just like setting down awesome miles. And so I like Google him to see like race results, and I found that he had a this like podcast that he had recorded.
Yeah.
So I went and listened to it, and I was like really stoked to listen to it. But then the podcaster like he started the conversation and then just kept he kept circling back to what was the question he kept asking? He kept circling back to like, all right, so John, like, how did it feel to win? How did it feel to like get all these achievements? And like John would say something and you could tell he was clearly not into it. And then the podcaster would be like, so, you know, when you did this thing, or like when your cross country team won state, like how did that like make you feel? Was that like a feeling of accomplishment? And it was just this constant back and forth of like this interviewer thinking that this cross country coach like worships the um or the why underneath his running career is like for the achievement, for the accolades, for the like this, that, and the other. And the reality was like he just wanted to like walk with guys and like see other like the high school boys just like come out of their shell, like learn deeper things about themselves. And so I don't know, it's one of those things where uh I guess yeah, it's less about like what do you worship and more like finding the why of what people want to talk about and like keying in on that. And if
Mhm.
you just like keep going around and like picking, like if you were to be here in front of me and be like, oh, this is the why that I think you're living life for. So I'm gonna keep asking about that. Like it's just
Right.
gonna become a really painful podcast and me being like, I really don't care, dude. Like I'm just, I don't know, I'm sure like we're naturally going to like run into that through the conversation of being like, yeah, I don't really care to
Hmm.
talk about that like part of my life or this part of my life.
Right,
And
right. The
then,
answers become kind of terse,
yeah,
kind of
totally.
perfunctory.
Yeah. Or like trite or like pious or whatever.
Right, right.
So, just like what people should think about me. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think most people, some people, few people know what it is they worship?
Um, no, that's a great question. I don't know. Hmm, I think it's like a kind of a I just think it takes self-reflection, and not self-reflection in the sense of like I'm thinking and reflecting on the thoughts that I'm having, but actually having to face the reality of like what my actions are. So so I guess to answer your question, it's like I think everybody can actually discover what they worship if they look at what their actions are. So that other podcaster I was telling you about, John Deloney, like he says behavior is a language, and I think it's interesting that kind of like reveals what you worship. Like, what's my behavior? I mean, just recently I've just been realizing and reflecting on the fact that like, I love to hit the snooze. Like I love um to like have a warm coffee on the couch. I love to like, sit in my camp chair or what are some other good examples? Like what's my guilty pleasure? Like like Netflix and LaCroix, like watching a show or whatever.
Okay.
And so I can think in my head, I can be like, oh, well, I should be worshiping Jesus. I should be worshiping like um, the Lord of all, and or I should be at least like uh leaning into this identity of like getting out of my comfort zone, getting into these like hard things. But the reality is like I don't want to because I like worship comfort too much. And so you asked like if you know what you worship, and I think we do know what we worship if we actually take a look at our behaviors and the things that like drive us. I guess here's another like way to describe it that I heard recently. So like St. Thomas Aquinas talks about the four what is it? The four things that um worldly things that we're like motivated by.
Yeah.
So and he basically like sets these forth as like things that we're naturally inclined to. I was just talking to a few friends about this. So the four things are like honor, power, pleasure, and money. So,
Honor, power,
yep,
pleasure, and money.
honor, power, pleasure, and money. Yep.
Okay.
So a good like litmus test to see like what we worship of those things, because there's going to be one that we gravitate towards more
Hmm.
naturally.
Yeah.
So like a good litmus test for this is like take the four, like sit in silence and say like, okay, of these four, what are the things that you're not um, motivated by? And um, yeah, so what are those things that you're not motivated by? And for me, I think it's probably the one that I'm least motivated by. I think it would be power. Like I don't really care to have power over other people. Like it's not really something that I feel inclined towards. And then maybe the next would be like money. Um, and then the ones that I'm more motivated by are like honor and pleasure.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know what it would be for you guys. I think it would be different for both
Oh,
of
I
you.
think I know.
Yeah.
Oh, honor all the way.
Yep.
Even when I think about earning a lot of money,
Hmm.
it's the immediate jump I make is how will other people think about me
Yes. Yep.
if I have a lot of money?
Exactly.
Not so much, oh, I want to have money.
Yep.
I'm actually fairly okay with not that much money,
Sure.
but I hate the idea of people not thinking well of me.
Totally. Yeah.
Pleasure, man. No, I mean, I've done like Exodus 90 a couple times. I've done like a 4-day desert fast. Like, yeah, they weren't fun, but that wasn't that hard.
Sure.
Power, kind of like you're saying, I don't really want to boss people around.
Hmm.
but holy shit, do I want people to think I'm great.
Totally. Totally. Yeah. Yeah. And another,
It's kind of blowing my mind right
I
now.
think that's how it is for a lot of the pattern to me. It seems like a lot of people are motivated by honor,
Hmm.
especially people who are, like relatively successful, relatively disciplined, like upstanding people.
Yeah,
Like they're
yeah.
probably motivated by honor. And here's the other like good follow-up question. Because maybe like I think there's a few ways to attack it. Because for me, I'm like, well, I don't know. I guess this the where the question for me started is like I don't know if I'm more on or if I'm more motivated by honor or pleasure.
Uh,
Um, what's the thing that I'm more tempted to or more willing to lie about to get? Is it honor or is it pleasure? So for example, um am I more tempted to more often tempted maybe to give a little white lie to like save face and
yeah,
let people know like I'm an honorable man?
yeah,
Or am I more like motivated to like give a little white lie so I can continue like living sort of a pleasurable life?
right,
And so for me, I think it's like it's that honor piece.
right.
I think that that might put honor like in front of pleasure, where it's like,
Yeah. Oh, how many times have people said, have you taken care of X, Y, or Z? And I'll say something like, ah, crap, I've been super busy. Or, yeah, I've started on it, but I've ran into a few difficulties.
yeah,
Like, yeah, those things might be true,
yeah, yeah,
sort of. But you also had an hour yesterday where you could have taken care of it
yeah, totally,
and you blew it off, and you don't want people to know.
yeah,
Holy cow.
yeah,
Whew. Honor for me. What do you think, Tom?
Same, I think.
Honor.
yeah,
Me
totally.
too. I was just thinking about this actually, like as you're speaking, I noticed that um like, if I say something or I make a mistake, some failure, that then someone is disappointed in me, that really kills.
Yeah,
Like if someone says they're disappointed in me, that hurts more than them being angry.
totally.
Yeah.
Like because I don't know if you guys experienced this, but like when you have try to hold yourself to a standard, then other people expect that standard of you, and then you drop below that, they're like, I thought you were better than this, and then it's like just a dagger right in the heart. You're like,
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, the pain you experience when others are disappointed in you, you're saying, Tom, the pain is knowing that, oh no, now those people aren't going to rely on me in the same way. Or maybe I'm not on the pedestal that I was with them. Or any number of images of that loss of someone's good regard.
yeah,
mm, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Do you know how you deal with that? Like, what?
Yeah. What's the cure, man?
I mean, oh shoot, I didn't get that far.
All
Well, I think
right, you got to come back. You got to come back. We got to know.
no, I think it's more just to have an awareness of like, okay, these are the things that are easily going to take me off guard.
Mm,
And like, um, these are the things that I'm going to be tempted towards. So it's like now I'm going to put up safeguards uh, against like, you know, this like misuse of honor or pleasure, and just know that that's going to be one of my temptations. So it's
mm,
like if I know that like pleasure is going to be my temptation, like for me, for example, when I get back from like a long trip or like a really good wedding. Like I've had this a number of times this summer where I like get back from an awesome trip. I'm like spending time with family, partying, all this stuff. And I get back and I'm like, I know that all I'm gonna want in my exhaustion is just like pleasure. I'm just gonna like want to take a nap. I'm gonna want to, isolate myself. I'm gonna want to do these things. So it's like, well, now I have an awareness of that. So how can I like going into that
Mm-hmm.
come down, if you will? Like how am I going to safeguard myself against that because it's gonna be like a persistent like dragon that like knocks at the door.
yeah.
um
Yeah.
so it's I don't know, we're all just like sinners, and it's just the reality, but just being able to kind of like shrug it off and be like, yep, that's, I fell again, and into like this lie or that lie or whatever. Like I just got to be able to like shrug it off and move forward. But Um, I don't know. I
Mm.
think it's just,
And when you say shrug it off, are you saying like you have to make room for God's grace? Like, yeah,
yeah,
th this too is something that I need forgiveness for. Not that you shrug it off and like, ah, it's no big deal,
right.
but shrug it off in the sense of, yeah, this is what the Redeemer came to earth for
Yeah.
when it came to me, right? Like I can't fix it.
Hmm.
The Redeemer died for the to fix this flaw in me.
Yeah.
Like it's his job to fix it. Is that what you mean?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, at one point this summer, I was talking to my spiritual director about pride specifically,
Yeah.
and my spiritual director was like, "Look, you fell in this way," or I think the example was I was at work and I was constantly like listening to pretty like trashy music, and he's
Uh-huh.
like, it's kind of a small thing. It feels like a small thing, but I'm like, it's really kind of throwing me off and like throwing me out of relationship with the Lord. And but I just want to control it. So like the more I want to control it, the like worse it gets.
Sorry. What do you mean when you say the more I control it?
The the maybe like the more panicked I get about it, the more panicked I get, the more maybe like ashamed I get about how much noise I'm letting in. Like
Hmm.
the um the harder it is to and maybe this isn't like a great concrete example, but the harder it is to um just wake up and realize like, oh, it's not me that does this. It's not me that like frees me from this sin or that sin or this habit or whatever. It's like the Lord that actually frees me from those things. And so just like relaxing my shoulders and being like, okay, I'm just a poor wretched sinner and I need the Lord's grace. Like that's actually freeing. Um, Instead of just trying to like white knuckle your way through whatever struggle it is.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. I think it's telling, and maybe it's just pride that like lets us kind of slip back into those four um, vices, if you will. So I don't know.
I would love to talk to some folks who have a mature understanding of some of those other motivations,
Mm.
right? I suspect that the liberal arts programs that all three of us went to probably attract people who are motivated by honor.
Absolutely.
They're probably not set up to be magnets for people who are really motivated by money or
Oh,
really motivated by pleasure, right? So like,
yeah.
frankly, we would probably have to go out of our way to find someone who their natural inclination is to be super motivated by money, but has the spiritual maturity to talk about it
Hmm.
and and unwind it a little bit. Like what do you think money will give you? Or what do you think power will give you?
Yeah.
Right?
Because it's giving you something.
Oh, there's a trade-off.
Absolutely. Always going to give you something. And
Yeah.
that's like any sin, any sin, any pleasure, any addiction. That's just the reality. It's like, you know, I grew up um I grew up like when we would walk by somebody on a street corner, for example, like smoking a cigarette. And it's
Hmm.
like, you know, I might hear from my parents, and maybe this is like an internal dialogue or something,
Hmm.
but I would hear like, oh, that person's addicted, like that person just like doesn't like himself or something.
Sure. Uh-huh.
Um, but it's interesting though, because it's like, no, that's actually a good solution. Like at least a temporary solution for like what they're dealing with. Or it's like you have a bunch of trauma, like, and I think of somebody who like comes back from a tour in Afghanistan or something, and they have all this trauma, and like the booze helps them mellow it out and like let them think clearly and like live a little bit more of like a happy free life. It's like, oh, it works.
It lets them be in the moment
Oh, it
for
works.
a
Yeah, it
minute.
helps them live in the moment. It absolutely works. So it's just interesting that we put that stigma on those things where it's like anybody dealing with anything, like they're just trying to take what they're dealing with and like put a solution on it, put like a band-aid on it.
Yep.
And frankly, like usually what they're doing works to a certain extent, whether that's substance abuse or just addiction to like shopping or control
Mhm.
or like perfectionism. Like there's always something that you can like insert instead of the Lord.
Right. And that thing usually has something to be said for it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
right. Have you ever, right, have you ever been drunk for about an evening? It's great.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
It's, I remember talking to my brother one time because he went to a school with a fairly big party scene. And I asked him one time, I said, like, look, man, I've driven you and your friends home. I've been there the next morning when your friends are just like wandering around the house, glazed eyes, saying they're a waste of skin. Like I've been there for all of those moments,
Yeah.
right? And I remember asking my brother, like, okay, I see you drink to a certain degree, but I've seen your friends get obliterated. Like, what is the appeal, right? Because it Sunday morning, it doesn't look like you're having a great time.
Oh, yeah.
And I do remember this. He said, Jonathan, it's hard to feel as close to people as when you're all getting drunk together.
Yeah.
And that really stuck with me.
Mm,
And it made me think, oh my gosh, have I had that feeling of togetherness with my own friends? Have we experienced something similar together?
yeah.
And maybe the next morning, yeah, you have that hangover, but honestly, maybe for a couple hours the night before, you really felt free from the burdens of life.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I think you could say similar things about smoking, partying,
Yeah.
sex, money. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There's that great scene in The Wolf of Wall Street where uh, the Jordan Belfort character is talking to the camera and he does his little bit, but then he walks out onto the sales floor where all his traders
Mm,
are uh, making him money, right? But he's given them this system that allows them to basically sell junk stocks to the unsuspecting public and collect huge commissions for it. And there's this great scene where he walks out onto the sales floor and he just puts both of his arms out like this, right? And he just has this expansive, all-encompassing posture. And he walks out and everyone starts clapping and cheering and everything. And I thought what that was directed by Scorsese. And I thought what they really captured there is that this man was addicted not so much to the money, but to this ritual of people's acclaim and applause, right? And
yeah.
every so often he had to go and re-participate in this liturgy
Yep.
of his presence, bringing about this euphoria of the crowd.
Totally.
And I remember thinking, wow, like I have objections to Scorsese as a director, but I will say, damn, did he capture something in that scene?
Yeah.
But again, there is that trade-off. Like he really did gain something by that acclaim from this group of people that had followed
Absolutely.
him into this life.
Yeah. Until he didn't. Wasn't he in jail?
He went to
Was he in jail?
jail.
Yeah.
But honestly, he's done pretty okay since getting back out. I mean,
Yeah.
he's gotten a book, he's got a podcast, I
Yeah. I
mean,
mean, once you have your name, then it's,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Then you got,
Um, he, yeah, I mean, he's done well for himself since. I don't know that he's earned quite the amount of money that he earned before, but
totally.
yeah, it's worked out for him.
Yeah. Love how that works. But he did have to serve his time. So it was tempting.
Yeah, he served a certain amount of time. I
Yeah.
don't know, like 6, 7 years. I'd have to get verified
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
There's that great. Have you read The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis?
No, I haven't read enough C.S. Lewis. I've read some, but
Yeah.
I need to put that on the list.
Yeah, there's that great scene where the young man is facing his guardian angel, and his guardian angel is saying, like, you must, if you want to come to heaven, you must separate yourself from your vices. But in the story, in the scene, the vices is this parasitic little lizard buried in the man's back.
Oh my my gosh.
Yeah, it's like I mean, it's like that almost like that face hugger from the Alien series, right? I mean, it's just
Yeah.
wound into his spine, and the head of the lizard is like right there at his ear and can whisper into his ear.
Yep.
And the parasitic little lizard keeps whispering to him like, "Keep me, and we'll give you little pleasures forever."
Mm, that's so freaky.
But we all have that, don't we?
Yeah, and then I think about letting that lizard go, and that's horribly painful.
Mm,
Yeah.
hmm. It's wound around your spine.
Yeah. I need the Lord to give me some painkillers
Yeah,
for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Lord is going to have to rip it out.
That's so
It
painful.
might kill you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, kill you as in like the death of the person you are now, or like more so like you have to re-figure out life?
I think both. Yeah. Right. If I'm this person who has always been well thought of by the community, right, because I've always sought honor, what is it going to cost me to have that attachment to honor? Like, what am I going to have to give up? I don't
That's a
even
good
know.
question. Yeah.
I asked a friend like 2 weeks ago, I asked a friend, like, what do I do about pride?
Hmm.
I, I honestly blanked. I don't know. Right? It's like if you're really addicted to drinking, well, it's like the answer is kind of obvious. Like
Right.
you got to quit drinking, which means new rituals, new friends, new, different way.
Everything.
Right.
Yeah.
But there are answers.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on that?
Uh, Pride in
Pride. Yeah.
particular.
Yeah.
Um, Gosh, man. I don't know if I have any thoughts on pride. Sorry, I was thinking about something different while you were
Oh,
talking.
no, no, no. What are you thinking about?
Well, I'm just trying to suss out like the letting the lizard go.
Mm,
And yeah, there's I just think that there's a fine line, and this is going to get like pretty gray and like dark, but like
yeah.
I think there's a really fine line between um like kind of like suicidal ideations
Yep.
and like wanting to give your life up.
Uh-huh.
Um and like Tom, you were saying like, well, what if that lizard comes out and it kills you when it comes out? And I guess maybe it's kind of an incomplete thought, but
Mm,
and I'd love to just like explore this a little bit more, but um like I've known people who I met a guy who ended up joining religious life after a while, but he was like in the throes of just like suicidal ideation and had been reading the Brothers Karamazov,
yeah.
and I actually just started like rereading it. So I haven't quite gotten to the point, but there's basically a point where like a third of the way through, Alyosha is or Father Zosima dies, and Alyosha doesn't want to confront the fact that like Father Zosima's body is decomposing, right? He just has this idea that okay, Father Zosima is like this incorruptible saint essentially, and so he goes into that, and this guy I'm talking to that ended up joining religious life, he said that he kept reading the first third of the story in like the throes of his depression, and then he would stop. And then a few months later, he would return, read the first third, and then he would stop. And then finally, he reached this point where he's like at the bottom of the swimming pool and like trying to drown himself, and like had gone over and over to this swimming pool, and he's like in the bottom.
He goes to the swimming pool again and again to
Yeah,
try to drown
to
himself.
try to drown himself, like in the
Mhm.
throes of his depression. And finally, like there's this shred of hope, like the Lord meets him and is like, no, you have to read the rest of the book. And so he like goes back through and he reads the rest of the book, which I think is just kind of, maybe if nothing else, is just like a like metaphor of the experience of like you have to dive back in and like confront the dragons and like confront the things that are the deeper questions that you don't necessarily want to answer. But I don't know why I'm kind of down this rabbit hole.
No, keep going. This is great.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it just seems like with that lizard in your back, you get to the point, and I've gotten to the point. like a couple times in my life where I'm like, this lizard in my back is not serving me. Like these desires that I have, like for the world, for the flesh, like they aren't serving me. And like either I need to just end it, like totally end it, or I need to like give my life deeper to the Lord, right? Like which both are a death in a way, but like one is redemptive death, and the other is a selfish death, but they're both kind of a death. Um, and yeah, so I think there's like a similarity between them, but you need to be willing to die to let the lizard go. Either way, like it's either going to kill you or you're going to kill it and risk losing your own life in the process. Probably losing your own life in the process.
Yeah.
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 Now I'm just rambling, but
No, it's great. It's great. I think I talked about this last time we were on the episode, so I'll keep it brief, but this has stuck with me for a long time. The A friend of mine who was a psychologist had to take on John the Baptist, and his again to keep it brief, his basic idea was John the Baptist faced death in the desert, and that's what allowed him to speak the truth so boldly
mm,
because he had lost his life. As in, sorry, he had put his life on the line
yes.
by going out into the desert and not knowing if he would survive it. And so he was able to speak the truth in the face of his own tribe, in the face of his own people, in the face of the power structures that existed, because he knew what it was like to have your very survival at hazard and to say, I'm detached from that. Maybe I'll live, maybe I won't.
Love that. Yeah.
Okay.
That's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. And basically, the psychologist said John the Baptist couldn't speak the truth the way he was supposed to until he had put his life on the line.
hmm In other words, like he couldn't speak the truth until he recognized that every moment of his life is a gift.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, as in it gift in the sense of it's given,
Yes. Right.
right?
Right.
It's given to me.
Yep.
I can't hold on to it. I can't expect another one.
You can't control it.
Can't control
You
it.
can't, and you can't control like whether you live or die
Right.
in a lot of contexts. Like
Hmm.
I think that's, and we're kind of detached from that in modernity. I hate that word, but
Hmm.
like we're detached from that
Hmm.
now, um, because we have control over so many things. But the
Yep.
reality is like I don't actually have control over whether I live or die, and like different things come up, and the veil is super thin. So yeah, um, I love desert spirituality. It's
Hmm.
so good.
Yeah.
It's like something that's close to my heart, but
Hmm.
it just makes me think of a personal experience of there was one season, I think it was like back, it was a couple years ago, maybe 2022, where I was on an ice climb and like had a really close call to like falling to, probably to my death,
Yeah.
um, but there there was this ice climbing, like leading ice climbing is pretty challenging, and the number one rule is don't fall because like your ice screws aren't necessarily going to protect you because you're like climbing above an ice screw, so you clip your rope to an ice screw and it's like maybe an inch thick, and like maybe 4 to 8 inches long,
Hmm.
and then you climb above it, so if you fall you're gonna,
But it is in ice,
it's in ice, exactly, yeah.
which is not a permanent thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like you don't know what the quality of the ice is.
Yep.
So anyway, I'm like climbing up this ice fall, and I like let loose a big chunk of ice and it fell on my belayer's head. And like he was fine, but I was pretty shaken up about it. So I kept climbing, like, and then I dropped one of my ice tools, which is like no, like absolute no. And so I dropped this ice tool and then like went with one ice screw and like with the other hand like grip onto the ice tool. I took my left hand and like put this ice screw in, and then like my ice tool came out, and I like barely held on to this half put in ice screw. So I clipped my rope to it, and I kept climbing. I was near the top of the climb, and like used another ice screw to get up. but it was enough of a heads up to be like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So I clipped and I
So
came,
your ice, your what we would look at and think it was like an ice pick.
yeah, yeah, an ice
Okay.
pick, yeah,
Okay. So all right. So you had that in your right hand.
yep,
Okay.
and
And
then
then with your left hand, you're putting in protection.
yep,
Okay.
yep,
Your ice tool failed in your right hand.
yep,
And
and
so
so
you were just
holding on to like a half put in ice screw.
right, right.
It was like, oh my gosh, and I still had my feet in a little bit, but
Yeah.
anyway, I was like panicked enough, but I made it to the top. But the feeling of like elation that I had after I came down from that ice climb, I was on cloud nine. It was like every single moment I was so grounded, so aware, like so grateful for the people that were with me.
Hmm.
The whole drive back, I was like unbelievably grateful. And then
You
um
had euphoria.
totally, it was totally euphoria where it's like I shouldn't be here. I really shouldn't. And
Yep.
then maybe like 3 or 4 days later, similar thing happened like with there I like almost got caught in an avalanche and it was kind of a similar thing where I came back and was like, "Oh my gosh, every moment's a gift." Like my life is so fragile
Yep.
and I
Yep.
love those moments. But it's similar to like I don't say this to like flex, but it's I mean, it's just a part of my story where I'm like there was a shift there where I'm like, "Okay, so what what would I do if I knew that there's a possibility that I would just die in my sleep tonight? Like, what would I
Hmm.
wish that I had done today?
Hmm.
What are the conversations that I would have had? What are the, hard things that I would have said, or the things that I would have tried, adventures I would have gone on? Like, what are those things? And like living from that place is like John the Baptist, where he's like, okay, I survived the desert. Um, but in those moments where like the veil is thin between life and death, like
Hmm.
that's where the Lord shows you like the places that like you could have done better, or um he wanted you to like receive his love in a deeper way.
Right.
So I think it's just the best kind of spirituality. But
Yeah. I remember the first time I cleaned a route rock climbing.
mm,
First or second time.
yep,
I screwed it up. So I put my rope through those mussy hooks, right?
yep,
So like we had the regular protection on.
yeah,
I climbed to the top, no problem. Kind of went through what I thought was the protocol to transfer the top rope from the protection onto the mussy hooks.
yep,
I thought I was good to go, and I, put everything back on my belt,
mm,
and I'm like, okay, lowering, right? I start going down, and one of the mussy hooks snaps the rope out. And to this day,
no way.
I don't know what I did wrong,
That's
right?
super freaky.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I dropped 6 inches real
Oh my
quick,
gosh.
and then I'm looking at the rope came out of that mussy hook, and then the other hook was the only one holding onto the rope. And the person belaying me saw my little twitch up at the
Dude.
top, and she said, like, everything okay? I'm like, yeah, just lost a hook.
Whoa.
And I just remember, like you go weak in the legs
Yeah.
because you think, oh my gosh, if I had done both, like if I had made that mistake twice, or if both had failed, or like I would have, I'd be dead. I'd be
Absolutely.
dead. Yeah, I
Yes.
would have fallen 200 feet down limestone and just died.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yep. No doubt.
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I just remember looking at that one mussy hook and be like, praise the Lord, we
Yep.
double up, but
Yeah.
one little mistake.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, yeah, it could have been over.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a good analogy for the spiritual.
I guess everyone needs a few moments in their life that are like that. I guess, right? Does that lead to greater maturity?
Maybe. I
Maybe.
think it can go too far. But
Yeah, actually, that's something I wanted to pick your brain on. So, you've done some work with Core.
yep.
Even before you worked for Core, you did a lot of outdoor trips.
Yep.
Something I've been kind of thinking about in the back of my mind is Core, Wyoming Catholic College, the circles we run in, you
Yep.
really promote the wilderness as a space to encounter God,
Yep.
right? Great. I've also been talking to friends of mine about like the guide community, the like the hunting packing community. Yeah, and like the tales of the hedonism are like, wow, like you got 30-year-olds living like they're still like college frat boys, right? It's like what is going on? Like it's this like these people are in the outdoors. They're like in God's cathedral, and yet how does this culture survive where it's like this extended hedonism like into your early 30s where, I think a lot of these guides and a lot of people in that community like what is going on? Like why like is the wilderness just not automatically an encounter with the eternal? Uh I'll stop there. Like what are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
that's a great question. Oh, I feel like this is still a question I'm like trying to explore, but I'll just like explore it here.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think for us it's kind of like front loaded and like for example, when I go into the wilderness, it's with like with a core trip, like we're pretty intentional about stating the like stating boundaries, stating expectations, stating like framing this is, where the how the Lord like wants to meet you, all these different things. And we're pretty good at stating those things. So I think that's something that I don't know that that's missing in the guiding community. Granted, I haven't, or I don't think it's something that's fully missing in the guiding community. I
Hmm.
just don't think it's something that is um, given as much weight.
Hmm.
Um, for example, now I'm just thinking about it because I remember guiding like an ice climbing course for CWC, Central Wyoming College, and just got tagged in. I'm super grateful I got to go. I was with a good friend of mine who I worked the Rebel Rampage with, and then so he kind of like got me in, and it's for students who are studying to be outdoor professionals.
Hmm.
Um, and here's where I think the difference is. The When we go out into the wilderness with WCC and core, it's like this is not so that you can become an outdoor professional. And we say that, like, even if you're going on a 3-week trip, like, this is not so you can become some rad backpacker. This is so you can have an encounter with the Lord and actually like bring it back into the front country, into like your daily life. Um, and the the interesting part about CWC is like, and I'm not saying this is necessarily a bad thing, it's just different where I was guiding people in the ice park and actually teaching students that were in the outdoor ed program. So
Okay.
it's like, okay, now the point of this trip, because I've done ice climbing with WCC, I've done ice climbing with CWC. For Wyoming Catholic, it's like the point of this is to just help you grow closer to the Lord. Like he's going to be doing stuff, he's going to be teaching you stuff about yourself. Ice climbing is just way different than any other sport, um, but with CWC, it was kind of like, no, we're actually taking you out on this so you can learn how to guide ice climbing and how to ice climb. Like that's kind of the aim. That's kind of the point of it. Um, and I just think that at a certain point that kind of breaks down because um, there's something about any aim that we have, like any sort of finite, concrete, earthly aim is just gonna fall short. Like uh, I mean, you could pick any number of examples, but if I set an aim of like, I'm gonna run this ultra marathon, um, and I'm gonna like do this time in the race. Well, what happens when you reach that time in the race? You're gonna leave and you're gonna be like, okay, well, my life hasn't really changed. It's not like anything radically changed because I like ran that race or got that time or won first place or whatever. Because it's like those sorts of things just don't satisfy us. So, um, but I think that there is some eternal within the outdoor community. And actually I think it comes back to honor. Like what's the thing that keeps driving people? I actually just saw him in the coffee shop today. A friend of mine that I met last year. His name's Wilson. He's a phenomenal climber. and he guides climbing. He does a bunch of like ropes rigging work and whatnot. But he's a great dude, and he um uh oh, what was I saying? Um, but
Ran into him, coffee
yep,
shop.
ran into him, coffee shop. But he just like keeps searching for the next objective because it's like within that climbing, like specific climbing community, like if you reach the objective, then you're going to have some honor within that climbing community, right?
Guys, you're
So,
gonna have some status.
yeah, you're gonna have some status. So like that's maybe the thing um that we're like pursuing uh within like the sort of normal like guiding world. And yeah, so I don't know, it's always there's always something deeper, and I do think that even within like the sort of secular guiding world, like there's still something deeper that people want, that people like want to achieve, whether
Okay.
it's like status uh or whatever it is. So yeah, and then on the other side there's just like straight up adrenaline, like, and I don't know, I think
Oh, so a certain number of people are involved in the outdoors because it's an avenue to adrenaline.
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's pretty sweet too. Like that's kind of a drug in itself. So
Hmm.
and it's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful to see what people can do with their bodies, and it's crazy to see the kind of like cliffs people can jump off with a mountain bike and survive, or crash and like get carted off and still get back on the bike a year later. Like I don't know, it's wild. Like
Hmm. Yeah.
people are crazy and people keep pushing the boundaries. So I think it's rad. I don't see any reason to stop doing it. So
No, no. I'm not saying anything like that. I remember, yeah, I think the only ER visit that I've had to make was because of mountain biking misadventure.
oh, nice.
Yeah. It's like the
Yeah.
first time I did this feature. What is it called? It's like Star Wars. It's like out past like Lions Valley Road. Like up it's one of those rides, like it's past where everyone goes to shoot. What is that? It's not Deadman's Gulch. I always call it Deadman's Gulch, but it's not that road.
I've never ridden this
You go
before.
up on Lions Valley, Coal Mine Road. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
So everyone goes out there to shoot and dirt bike, right?
Yeah.
But then in college, we did some mountain biking out there. Um, and yeah, there's this feature called Star Wars because it has this trench, like from
Sick.
episode
Yeah.
4, right? But the entry to this trench is just this big drop,
Oh,
this drop
jeez.
in, and you're just like riding along the sagebrush, and then it's just boom, like
Yeah. Yeah.
down at I'm gonna say I don't know 40 feet, 50 feet. You're just dropping straight down. Maybe it's less than
Yeah.
that, and I remember it as bigger than it was.
Yeah.
But like I did it the first time on like I'm pretty sure I did it. I don't even think the bike I was on had front shocks. Like I did it on like a
Oh my God.
hard fronted,
Yeah.
like just like 10 speed mountain bike, like
Dude.
mountain bike. You know what I mean? But like, I mean, I think the first time I did it on something with like caliper brakes, like hard front, like no front shocks. Like the worst bike to do.
Yeah. That's
But
great.
I was like, I just had no expectations for it. So like, I just
Totally.
went in like totally fresh, and the guy was like, "All right, yeah, just kind of hit your brake pretty hard as you go over the lip, and then like, let your brake off and just ride it out." So like the first time I did the feature, like no problem, just
Yeah.
and then just like came out the other side.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like the second time, like I started staring at the diving board, so to speak.
Oh
Like I
yeah.
just started like, holy cow, this is actually pretty freaky.
Totally.
Right. And
Yep.
so like the second time I did it, I couldn't complete it because I was staring at the diving board, staring at the drop,
Yep.
and yeah, my body just went into survival mode, and just I ditched my bike. So I tried it a couple times. On the second time, I ditched my bike wrong, and uh the toothed gear wheel up front like caught my calf
Mm.
as I landed.
Yeah.
So it just sliced my calf
Oh,
open.
bro.
Just like I just had this big piece of steak, of my own calf muscle just like hanging out to the side.
My gosh.
And
How many stitches do you have to get?
I forget. It wasn't that bad. I want to say like 9 or 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so nothing, yeah.
But
But like I like look like I crash, I pick myself up, I'm looking around, then I look down. I think I yelled. Matt McGee was the outdoor professor at the college at the time. I was like, Mr. McGee, I've got a woofer style injury.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So he runs over.
Need you.
And he said, well, all right, you've got about 20 minutes before the adrenaline wears off and it gets super painful. So you have to ride out. Like, we have 20 minutes to get out of here before you can't ride anymore. So
Yeah.
he's like, I'm going to duct tape it shut and then we're going to ride to the van. And that's what we did. Like, he just he threw like a little cotton swab, duct taped it, and then we just booked it
Oh,
out of this feature, which is
yeah.
just
Yeah.
this long swerving canyon. It's a great ride. We
Totally.
get back to the van and I see the van, I ride up to it and I just collapse
Oh my
next to the
gosh.
van because I knew I had basically like, okay, now I can go to the hospital.
Yep.
So he drives me to the hospital and yeah, what do they call it? Like a briding the wound? They just got to squirt it with water to get all the dirt out. Is that called a briding it?
I've never heard that word.
Okay.
Sure.
And yeah. So anyway, so then I get my stitches and everything.
Yeah.
And we went back like a month later to do it again because Mr. McGee was like, you gotta hit it
Yeah.
one
Get
more
on the
time.
horse. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta go back.
Yep.
Um, but I do remember it I do remember it as a formative experience
Mm,
because it was that sort of like brush with mortality,
yep.
right? And then like going back to like, and Mr. McGee even said, he's like, you got to go face the dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to go back to that feature.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Dude, it's
So,
super real.
yeah. Yeah.
Gosh, there's so much to learn. That's awesome.
Uh-huh.
Great story too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, man.
My only ER visit,
Wow.
at least during college.
Well, that's
Yeah. No, my second ER visit was from the wood shop. I just got my hand caught in a
oh shit.
joiner. Yeah.
Like a scar or something.
You can still it's hard to see from far away, but like if you look close, like basically I split this finger in half.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and they came back and I
Dude.
drove myself to the ER with this bleeding finger. They
Oh,
sewed it back up. And then they sewed it back up. And then I went back to the wood shop that night because I wanted to finish the
there you
project.
go. Yeah. It's amazing. Get back on the horse.
Get
Yeah.
back on the horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something worth practicing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really good.
Yeah. So, okay, so you were a core missionary for 2 years?
4 years.
4 years. Oh, dang. Okay. Damn. Time flies.
Yeah.
What year did you graduate?
2020.
Damn.
Yeah.
Time
You're
does fly.
you're old. I'm old too.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm older than you.
Right.
Yeah. People will be like, how old are you? I'll tell them. Like, still a young man. I'm like, it's not what my knees think.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah. How do you, I'm very curious about this. How do you suss out like the mission of core versus the mission of WCC?
Mm.
Like liberal arts with an outdoor element to an encounter with something, like and get in and let's get into that something, an encounter with something through the avenue of the mountains.
Yep. That's great. Um, I would describe the mission of core as like basically using the wilderness, going into the wilderness to encounter the Father's heart,
Okay.
encounter the Heavenly Father's heart,
Okay.
um, and growing in relationship with others through that. That's kind of how I would describe it.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, maybe this is a hot take, but I feel like actually most of my education from WCC came during the 4 years afterwards with core than through WCC.
Huh.
And I don't know. I think there's definitely like truth to that. Um, and here's I guess I'll like talk about that a little bit more, but um, yeah, the mission of core is beautiful. For me, I just needed something like very concrete to like latch onto and like concrete experiences to actually like process through. And and for me, it's like that's what the books are about. Like I remember during WCC being just like so engrossed in the books and being like, okay, this book, I'm just gonna like read The Brothers K, and then I'm gonna read like Crime and Punishment, and then I'm gonna read um Thucydides and like the Iliad and Thomas Aquinas and like all these different things.
Mhm.
But like I think a lot of people are actually too young and lack experience to actually be able to take the things that they read and like bounce them off of their experience of life. And so
As in they have a scant experience of life.
yeah, yeah. So now I'm just like trash talking to college, but
No, no, no,
not
no, no.
really. But
We can make distinctions here.
yeah, yeah, totally. I just like um yeah, your question was like kind of the difference between the two.
Yeah, I love both things, right? Like
Sure.
we've got but not that they're at odds with each other,
Yep.
but it's always seemed to me that what core is trying to accomplish and what the college is trying to accomplish in the soul are complementary,
Yeah, they are. Yep.
but not identical.
They're not identical.
And I've always thought, can you serve two masters? Like we've got this single organization that says, all right, we are trying to build a certain habits of mind in the intellect and also the imagination of the student.
Yep.
Great. But then in the same organization, we have this sub-organization
Hmm.
that says, wonderful, we're trying to accomplish something else, not necessarily in the mind. It's more in the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the heart.
Yeah. This isn't a criticism,
Yeah.
but I do think it's a tension.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good point. I think
Yeah.
it is a tension. I think it's a really good tension. Um, but yeah, I think the suggestion that that you can't serve two masters, I don't think that like
Do you mind
distills
turning
it.
the AC? Just getting it to off. Yeah, thanks. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know that like serving two masters is a great way to describe it
Okay.
because I do think that they're complementary.
Mm,
And what I mean by most of my education like came through core. Um, I read a lot of books in college and went on outdoor trips and went mountain biking and rock climbing and canyoneering and backpacking and all these different things. But and then like we'd come back and just dive back into the books. And I was super grateful for the books. But the difference between like my experience at WCC and my experience at Core was most most of my time at WCC was spent with my head in the books, like reading stories, learning stories. Um, and I didn't really have like a good grounded understanding of what the authors were trying to teach me. I just had this idea that like the things that I'm reading in the books are exactly that. They're just ideas. And I'm just reading and I'm just trying to like bring in all of these ideas and like inform my own kind of mind and conscience and it was just kind of overwhelming. Versus the flip side was my 4 years at core was I'm living life and like in relationship with the Lord. Um, and I would come back from a trip and be like, okay, there was this thing that I really struggled with on the trip. Um, and uh, and I just want to like answer the question of, do I own this thing or do I be a victim to like this situation? And I don't have a good example of this, but uh, it was just like I wanted to discover what it means to like take ownership of my life. So it's like, well, I'm gonna read Extreme Ownership, and so I'd like go on a trip and I'd come back and I would just like read a whole book. Like I would have time to just like sit down and read a whole book. I
hmm
had the attention span to do that. And then I would go out on another trip and be like, these students or these seminarians were asking like really good questions about the interior life. Like, I'm gonna read a book about this. So I read Father Jacques
Jacques Philippe.
or Jacques Philippe,
Yeah.
yeah. Like I think it was Finding and Maintaining Interior Peace or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like, whoa, this is super eye-opening. So now I can like take these different passages and like apply them to my life. And and then I'd go like this, and a more majority of it was just spiritual reading, like novels and spiritual reading. Um, and then kind of like near the middle of my experience or my time at Core, I read the who was the author? Louis L'Amour.
Okay.
Um, a really good book. It was an autobiography by Louis L'Amour called Education of a Wandering Man, and I'd recommend it. It's a really good book.
Okay.
But he basically like goes through his whole life and like what are the things that he read during these different times and how that impacted him and how that impacted his worldview. So he would have all these experiences and all these books that he was reading. And I basically came to the understanding at core that, and it's super simple. It's like way obvious. Um, but I was like, oh, the books that I'm reading, I'm just getting to know the author. Like, yeah, it's as simple as that. I'm just getting to know Thomas Aquinas. I'm getting to know Michael O'Brien. I'm getting to know Jocko Willink, like, or Louis L'Amour or Jacques Philippe or um, yeah, whoever, Father Gallagher, like, so I'm getting to know all these authors. And um, so yeah, I think like the education is complementary because what I learned at WCC was kind of the focus and attention to actually read and like focusing on what they're saying. And then what I learned at core was, okay, now I'm going to take my experience and I'm going to learn from my experience. And that's what I'm using the books for. And so now it's like when I go throughout my life, I'm like, oh, I have this question. And sometimes I just read to read. Um, but I'm like, I really want to answer the question of like interior peace. So I'm gonna like read about interior peace. And I think that's what the education is meant to do. It's like the WCC instilled in me like a desire to keep learning, to keep reading, to keep being formed. Because like
Mhm.
the moment we stop being formed or challenged, the moment we stop being challenged is the moment we stop learning. And so it's like I always want to be challenged. I always want to be learning. And yeah, I don't know if that answers the question, but that's just like what I think about when
Okay.
it
So,
comes to.
yeah. All right. So maybe it seems to me that you're saying that I might be setting up too much of an image of tension between these two aims.
Sure.
Uh, it, am I tracking you correctly that you look at the books that were part of the curriculum and much of what is going on is you are trying to understand and know the author,
Yeah.
right? And encounter their ideas, their wisdom, their knowledge, right?
Yep.
And what's happening on core is that you go out into the wilderness because you want to encounter the author.
Kind of. It's more the time at core gave me real life concrete experiences of what
Okay.
it means to be in relationship with people and with the Lord.
Okay.
And there are things that and books, authors through books can teach us about how it is to live a good life,
Okay.
basically.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and I think that's absolutely like the goal of WCC,
Yep.
although like we're too in our head sometimes.
Right.
And I know, like, I'm sure you guys have had experience of this. I don't know, Tom, I don't know if that was like a struggle for you
Being
or,
too much in my head.
yeah,
Oh, 100%.
yeah, totally, totally.
It's crazy like how far your mind can go with our thoughts. Especially when I found for myself like whenever I read the book, what I was reading, I was like, this is the answer
Hmm.
to whatever question I had in my mind. Is like if we just think more on this idea, that'll solve a lot more other problems. But then since being graduated, I realized that that's not really the case. That's just another like flashlight on the issue of whatever you're thinking about. But
Mm.
you can't just say this is the only way to think about it and then disregard everything else.
Yep.
I think they were trying to teach that. I didn't really pick it up till too late, but I was like, you need to think about these things in a theological, philosophical, poetic, experiential ways of doing things.
Hmm.
And then all those different ways of looking at something will you then be able to understand it in a way that allow you to then live out the best you can
Yep.
with that thing.
Yeah, totally.
But that took way too long to figure out.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think that's a natural thing though, to like struggle with that tension for a while. And I think the experience of WCC maybe is to like force you to have that tension for a while. And then
Mm.
eventually like the light bulb goes off and you're like, oh,
Mm.
okay. Yeah, it's just to like keep diving deep and keep learning.
Yeah.
But
I mean, so I read Quo Vadis,
mm,
the story of the infant Christian community in Rome,
yeah.
um, in the time of Nero. And I read it, I think, in high school.
Mhm.
Right? And there's these characters with their various motivations. And one of the characters, Vinicius, is really hung up on a woman,
Mm.
like really hung up, right? And he loves her, but he also hates her, and he
Oh, it's real, dude.
he wants her to come back and be repentant for the way she's wronged him, but he also wants to never see her again, and he also wants
Oh
to
man.
dominate her, but he also wants to be tender towards her. He's got all these conflicting things going on.
Hmm.
And I read it at 15, and I think to your point, it's like, oh, interesting. Like you're just sort of watching this scene, right?
Yeah,
Then I read it again at 36 and I'd had that experience of being hung up on someone,
no doubt.
right? And I'm reading this narration of Vinicius and all of these violent, uncontrollable uh, movements of his heart around this one person. And to speak to what you were mentioning, I was like, oh. Yeah, I get it. Right. Like the author understands something really key
Yep.
about life that at 15 I just didn't have the material for. Right.
Totally.
And then 20 years later, I reading it again, I was like, oh, I have felt this way about someone. Right.
Yep.
To have all these wildly and violently conflicting emotions that are just like wild horses loose in my brain. Right.
Totally.
But then to see it, but then to have the author so accurately describe it and to simultaneously feel understood by the author
Yep.
and simultaneously be taken out of yourself because you're experiencing it through this character and you're like, oh, yeah, all of the things that make sense in his head of like this is the one way to respond to this human situation
Yep.
based on my violent, intense emotion of the current 20 minutes.
Hmm.
You're looking at this character and saying like, no, 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 just don't act on what you're feeling right now.
Yep.
And then to realize that it's also true of your own life.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, I probably shouldn't act on this violent, uncontrolled, imaginative emotion in my own head.
Yes.
So it
Yeah.
does seem like, yeah, the curriculum, it's odd. Like you're reading these great works of literature at 18,
Yeah.
and it's both good in the sense that it's giving you're sort of borrowing the experience of other people, but at the same time it's giving you these experiences that you're almost not capable of unpacking.
Right. I just had to grab the charcuterie board.
No, no, please.
Um,
Oh.
yeah, I think I love what you said about like you can't really unpack it until you've actually experienced it
Hmm.
or even like seen somebody experience it.
Yeah.
And um yeah, oh, what was I thinking with this? Yeah, you have to well, all right, so here's the thing about a good piece of literature, and I think about like Crime and Punishment, where like when you um when you read Crime and Punishment, I could never like sit down and read, a half of Crime and Punishment in one sitting because I would just feel terrible.
Yeah.
You just feel like garbage.
You
Yeah. It's so real.
Yeah.
And especially I think we at college we like read it during the winter or something. So I was like, I just want to like off myself right
Right,
now. This is
right.
like
Yeah, what's that John Mulaney line? Like, kid, don't tell me you haven't seen this and then just want to walk into the ocean, you know?
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, seriously. And I think that that's like kind of the point of it
Hmm.
is to be like, okay, I'm going to have this kind of condensed experience of like reading and empathizing with the author and like feeling what he's feeling and like be in that with the author and with the character. And hopefully after I like read that thing, so I think I'm actually not giving WCC enough credit
Hmm.
because I'm sure that there were things that I read that like instilled a certain like ooh in me
Yep.
where when I encountered that like feeling of ooh
Hmm.
in my own life, I would recognize that and be able to actually take a step back as if I was just reading the book and be like, okay, let's look at this from a reader's perspective.
Hmm.
Like if I am somebody who is tasked with the responsibility of taking care of myself, like what would I do if I was the reader of this novel right now? Um, yeah, it's super interesting, but
Yeah.
yeah.
No, we do need those stories
Hmm.
to help form our imagination, right? Like I've been harping on this a lot recently with my friends. It's like, yeah, maybe at 15 or 17 or even 20, quite, maybe we can't quite act in a way like Odysseus or Saint Philip Neri or Christ himself or Alyosha. Like, we just aren't in the situations that call for it. But that's what the but we are going to face those situations someday, and we're going to need that formation of our imagination, right?
Yep,
Of like
exactly.
we're going to need that formation of courage, courage, dear heart.
Hmm.
Peter and Paul walked into Rome
Yep,
knowing that it would be the end of their life,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And I say I've been harping with my friends. I've been harping on if we don't have those examples forming our imagination when those moments arise in our lives, maybe we don't have the Joan of Arcs, the Aragorns, the Jesus Christs, the we don't have the examples in our imagination. And maybe that leads to some tragedies.
Hmm.
It's very interesting you said that. I've been listening to Jordan Peterson's book Maps of Meaning.
Hmm.
Mm.
I don't know if
You like it?
it's really good.
Sweet.
He's talking so far it's all been about mythical tales, like the origin stories that have stayed around forever,
Mm.
like the story of Gilgamesh and
Mm. Yep.
Enuma-Elish and all of those. And he's so good at like telling the story and explaining what's going on. But the main theme that he's giving in the book is that he said we understand the world through stories, and the stories that we hear allow us to then interpret our own lives and then live out. So he was saying that it all starts with a story that then we tell, other people talk about, then we dive into more. And he said that's where philosophy comes from. Philosophy originally comes from a story, and it's not the other way around. And so it hit me hard because I was like, oh, I always thought of like, oh, you have to philosophize about everything and then build a story on top of that. But he was saying it was the reverse.
Mm.
And now it's got me so much more interested in learning about good stories
Hmm.
because in the general theme he's going for, he talks about they call it the dominating father and the all-encompassing mother.
Yep.
Like the smothering,
Smothering mother. Yep.
smothering, this
Yeah.
the smother mother.
He talks about like how the mother is the creator of all things in the way of like this is what she essentially the mother is the unknown and the father is the known. So the mother is like potential and the father is action.
Hmm.
And the father's order is what puts into the void something, and that's what the the offspring is. And the offspring is the hero that then puts both of those things in a world that more offspring can live in. So when the mother archetype comes too far into the world, she destroys everything with just too much chaos. And then when the father figure comes into the world too much, he destroys it all with too much order.
Hmm.
And the hero is the one understanding how to re-establish a creation where chaos and order play together that can then bring new life in a way that can sustain forever. So crazy. I was like, you got this from Gilgamesh?
Dude, he's such a brain. It's
So
crazy.
cool. But yeah, I just never looked at a story that way.
Yeah.
That not every story, the most important stories are it's in some way addressing the the tension between order and chaos.
Yeah, which is kind of like the underlying reality we're in. And Christianity talks about that too. It's like one of the coolest lines ever is God spoke into the deep
Hmm.
and out of the void created world.
Mm-hmm.
Like Christ is the logos that spoke into the nothingness that then created this.
Yeah.
And then he is the one that makes all things new, so he can then bring in the chaos of new life, but then the order of bringing it all to a better place, which is united with him.
Mm-hmm.
But Peterson was showing how that archetype has been thought about for thousands of years as a human society. We just didn't know who the real hero was.
Hmm.
We just kept putting the name on all these other gods, and these gods were trying to fill in that understanding of what's going on. And it wasn't until Christ came that he said, "This is what it is." And then we're like,
Yeah. Yeah, nothing fit before him. Yeah.
it's wild. I highly recommend it.
Good.
Maps of meaning.
That's so good. Shameless plug. Maps of meaning.
Shameless plug for maps of meaning. Let's take a quick break.
Sweet.
Say more.
So like, let's say you saw like something simple, like you had a training partner for working out, but you kept sleeping in, so he would always be late to work, for instance. And then you're like, well, I keep letting him down, so maybe I should just not train with him, fix this habit, and then go back into it. So that way he doesn't have to deal with this failure of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had that thought? Maybe it's even a temptation of just staying in isolation longer so that you kind of fix whatever is wrong, so
Mm.
that way you don't cause that problem again.
Like you think, okay, I keep failing in this way. I need to stop doing this activity until I won't fail again, until I get to a point where I don't think I'll fail. Mm.
It's
And you're referring specifically to doing that with people.
mhm. So I just was wondering because it's happened to me a few
Mm.
times and people have spoken about it and I'm like, huh, maybe I should just not go into that activity until I actually figure this out and then reintroduce myself to that thing.
Can you make what you're thinking of more concrete
Yeah, like
in the example? Like,
Um, I guess like cooking dinner.
mm-hmm.
Like I've had like dinners for people and they turn out all right,
Uh-huh.
but I've never been like that was really good,
I crushed it.
Right. Don't have a crush moment. And so then
You got to burn a lot of casserole before you crush it.
yeah,
that's right.
exactly. So I'm like, do I just perfect this one craft until I feel ready
Hmm.
to then present it to someone?
Hmm.
Like, is that the right way to think about it? Or is it like, should you be willing to show what you have now and hope that's enough for them? I guess it's been a question of mine because I've for a long time I always like jump into things and just give it all.
Uh-huh.
But then I usually regret it afterwards. So I was like,
Because you feel that you've overextended yourself and said yes to too much. Is that what you have in mind?
that or just in that particular thing I failed, so then I I knew if I would have practiced beforehand and prepared more, I probably would have been better.
Oh,
Hmm.
And so it's been this like weird catch right now where I'm like, do I prepare more and wait, or do I dive in, or what's the harmony there?
right. Hmm. Uh,
I feel like friends don't really care if your dinner isn't perfect. Like real friends.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a beauty to just having people over, and it's like,
hmm.
I'm just gonna give you what I know how to cook, and maybe it'll turn out okay. Or like you invite them over, and there's I'm trying to think of like a good example. Like there's some dishes that aren't done, or like you got some clothes that are unfolded on the couch. Like it's a little chaotic.
Man, you're more generous than I am. I'm such
Oh,
a snob
bro.
about these things.
It's
Yeah.
always clean here, man.
Yeah. I remember I hosted a brunch. Gosh, this was like 6 years ago, and I still remember the moment. It was like someone was coming to the brunch, but they called me up like last minute. They're like, "Hey, so and so's in town. Like, they go on a court trip in 2 days, but they arrived early. Like, can I just bring them?" Like, sure. So they come over, and the kid was super nice, super friendly, just like super stoked to like be making like good Catholic acquaintances and everything. And so he's like, "Can I help out?" I said, "Sure." Like, do you know how to scramble eggs? Like a pretty straightforward in my mind. He's like, "Oh yeah, man, I can scramble eggs." And so I'm like, "All right, you take care of that. I'll turn over to other things." And so like he like whipped up the eggs and then put the pan on high and then just like no salt, no water to like loosen them up a bit, no oil in the pan to like help it not stick.
What?
Like he just beat the eggs into oblivion and then just put the pan on high and then just dumped in the eggs into the pan. And to this day, 6 years later, I remember looking over and thinking like, oh, I really wish this kid wasn't here.
Really?
Like it was just that perfectionism coming like unbridled, right?
Yeah.
Like I want everything perfect. I can't accept that, like, yeah, okay, these scrambled eggs are not going to be God's gift to the scrambled egg universe, right? And it was funny. Beth Eby really called me on it. Shout out to Beth. She looked over and she said, "Yeah, I saw the expression on your face and you didn't say anything, but it was clear. It was clear. You were struggling." And and like looking back, like, does anyone besides me remember those scrambled eggs? Probably not.
Oh, if you keep telling the story, we will.
Right, exactly. It's recorded in perpetuity now. Anyway, all of this is to illustrate my prideful, I was like, I want my brunch to be perfect. Right. And by golly, I want those scrambled eggs to be perfect.
Yep.
So anyway, but I'm from the East Coast, and so I think there's that little just like a little bit of like northeast snobbery gets
Yeah,
into gets into us. It's pretty hard to avoid.
that's true.
Yeah.
So I'm not friends with, New Englanders.
Hmm.
So
There's an argument to be made
that's
to
right.
give us a wide berth. So- and you know what? We appreciate that wide berth because you know what? We're grumpy. So thank you.
Tell everybody. So that's great.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the
So,
Midwesterners are just hanging out. So
yeah. Hanging out, being friends with everyone, having a good time, not keeping their standards like impossibly high. It's a good way to live. But Tom, I'm kind of curious to dig into this a little bit more. Like you feel like you felt tempted to like isolate yourself like socially because of you don't have like certain skills
Hmm.
like do you mean just like, oh, I don't know how to host a great event, or like maybe I'm not good at small talk, or like maybe I feel like until I can be better at telling jokes, I'm not sure I want to like be around people. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of
Okay.
like a skill stack that just
Okay.
doesn't seem like it's there. It's like when you have friends that can do all those things and they do them really well, you kind of want to be that kind of life for someone else too.
Hmm.
And I think
yep.
it's hard to feel like you can't give that, but you think you could if you practice more. And you probably could.
Hmm.
So I guess I just don't know what the guiding principle of that decision making should be. Like, should you go for it or should you practice till you feel competent?
Right. Right.
Or I guess like when you're a kid and you try hard, you're being praised by your effort.
Mm.
But then when you get older and you had enough times to try hard to actually master something, you're judged on your
You're praised for success.
for
The
success.
praise is very conditional.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
And so it's like when you're an adult and you try something and you fail, and you have someone else say that wasn't good enough, you immediately think, well, now I'm not accepted in that community as much
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't perform.
Mm-hmm.
So then the question is, do I self-isolate to then get that mastered and then come back in?
Mm,
Or do I keep trying and hope everyone's patient enough for that to come out okay?
sure. Who was the Roman orator who went down to the seashore, put pebbles in his mouth, and
Oh, Demosthenes?
Demosthenes, yeah, proclaimed to the waves?
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, he did that in, yeah. I mean,
That's
some training
sort
does
of
happen to
true.
happen in isolation,
Yeah.
right?
I feel like more happens with people though.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm just trying to like relate to the experience, Tom, and it's I remember I made an adulting goal for myself to learn how to cook
Mm,
because I never knew how to cook. Like, I mean, grade school, mom always cooked. Like middle school, maybe I cooked a little bit, but my mom always cooked. Like high school, I went to a boarding school, so all my meals were cooked. And then, same with college. So it's like my goal was to learn how to cook. And I remember having some people over I was like, I'm gonna grill some burgers. Dude, it was the most embarrassing. So I'm like, I should be able to cook some burgers.
right.
Like, put them on the grill, leave them on there for a bit, pull them off, we eat them, like whatever. And so we like
Like it's a burger. How hard can
we
it be, right?
we bite into these burgers, and everybody looks in the middle and is like, "Oh my gosh, they're so pink." They were like totally red, and like not even like cold or not even like warm in the center. They were
Right.
just awful.
Yeah.
And so one by one, people like went to the microwave and started like putting their burgers in the microwave.
Oh
It's like,
no.
oh, this is so embarrassing.
Oh my gosh.
But then like I didn't cook burgers for people for a while, but then once I started like having people over a little bit more for burgers, I actually tended to overcook the burgers.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, it's kind of like, you know, what Aristotle says of like growing in virtue. It's like you kind of have to bend the stick far in the other way and then bring it back slowly. So it's like, well, then I started burning the burgers, and then gradually over time, like the burgers are getting better and better. And now, like, if I have you over for burgers, they'll be good,
Right.
hopefully,
Right.
like, so I
Mhm.
don't know. I feel like people give more grace than what we anticipate.
Hmm.
Um, maybe that's the underlying thing of like
Oh yeah.
maybe like a fear of judgment,
Mm,
and
yeah.
I think that people give a lot more grace. So, and maybe that's just the Midwesterner in me again, but
Wow.
Very
Yeah,
hard
the
for us.
Midwesterners give more grace than us Northeasterners. So
totally,
I'll admit that.
yeah,
I'm trying to think, like the first time I tried to tell a story, like, growing up in my family, I'd sit around and my dad would tell a story, my aunt would tell a story, everyone would laugh. And man, I remember the first time my story flopped. It's like, I don't know, I was 12, 13, like, oh, this will be funny, right? I'll tell a story.
mm,
So I pipe up at the dinner table and oh man, it's like I thought like, oh, you tell a story, everyone laughs and and man, I fell on my face. Like
like
it was a bad story.
yep,
It wasn't good.
yep,
It
yep.
wasn't the right story for the social setting. Like,
Oh
and
no.
just everyone just sort of like silently like paused for a minute and then someone changed the topic.
But you learned.
Oh, damn, did I learn,
Yeah, and quickly. I think you learn way quicker. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you got that instant feedback,
That's right.
right?
Yeah. It's so good. You just got to be comfortable with the uncomfortable, I guess. And now you're
Yeah.
pretty good at telling stories. So
I've gotten a lot better, I'll tell you that.
that's right.
Yeah.
Trial and error.
Trial, man, it's a lot of errors.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to go wrong.
Yep.
There's more ways to go wrong than there is to go right.
Usually. Yeah. Yeah.
There really is. So
Yep.
I once, so like before I was in real estate, I did the admissions work for Thomas More, and then I did it for the college. And I think I was working for Thomas More at the time. And I had like gotten up and done some public speaking in college. Like in college, I was considered like a pretty good public speaker.
Hmm.
Um, and then I got into this job at this college where like you'd go to high schools and you'd stand in front of a room of high school students and you'd give your, do your song and dance for the college. And I remember this one time, I think I was in Pennsylvania and I went to the front. They had all their assemblies in the chapel, which is just sort of a weird place for public speaking anyway.
That's a weird place.
Yeah, exactly. You're in the chapel, you're in front of the tabernacle. It's not mass, you're not a priest, but like you're gonna stand in front of the altar and like talk about college options, the FAFSA score, and scholarships. And I opened with this little story. And then I'll never forget it. I completely forgot the rest of my speech.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like completely blanked. Like I had my intro story and I forgot my like little segue line.
You didn't have like a note card or anything?
No, no, I was just doing it off the cuff. And so I 100% was standing in front of all these high school kids and they're staring at me and I'm staring at them. And like a second goes by, I'm like, I don't know what to say. And then another second goes by, I'm like, what should I say? And then the third second goes by and says, yeah, I'm thinking they all want to know what I'm going to say. And what did I do? I pretended I was sick.
No.
Yeah.
You
It was like the most thing. I left. I was like, excuse me, do you guys have a restroom? I'm suddenly not feeling well.
Oh my gosh.
I
What?
left I left the church. Didn't genuflect or anything. I just darted out of the church, went to the bathroom, splashed some water on my face, and was just like looked in the mirror and was like, get it together, Jonathan. Get it together.
Yeah.
What am I going to say next? Oh, and then of course, like
It came back.
yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, these are all the things I'm supposed to say. So then I walked back into the chapel and all these high school kids are sitting there being like, what on earth have we just witnessed? Like, hey, everybody, I'm going to finish my speech now.
Wait, did you tell him the truth or?
No.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I just launched into the rest of my speech as if
Like nothing
nothing had happened.
Did they receive it? Like what?
Maybe. I don't think any of them enrolled.
Oh, those
Yeah, yeah.
dude, they saw right through you. I guarantee it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, high school students. You can't BS a high school
Yeah,
student.
that's true.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were like, "Oh my gosh, that kid lost. Yeah, that guy lost his place." I
Yeah.
mean, I suppose, I mean, I'll have any of them on the podcast if they hear this and we can discuss how they reacted to it. But I was like, I feel like I get some cred for coming back.
Yeah.
I was so tempted to just walk out the door, get in my car.
It's a wash. Eh.
Yeah, exactly. It's a charter school in New York. They're not coming anyway. All right, I'm out of here.
That's so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah. But I mean, I will say, taught me a valuable lesson about public speaking. Be like, have your outline down cold
Yeah.
before you get up there and start John. Yeah.
Do you bring a note card now?
No, no. I just mentally rehearse it. Like
That's good.
I really do mentally rehearse, and I have the outline.
All right,
Yeah.
good.
And also, I think the other thing that happens is like, okay, like you failed in the worst way possible. You literally left. And like, was it the end of the world? No.
Yeah, that's pretty much the worst thing that you could do
Yeah,
in public speaking.
it was. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I abandoned ship.
That's right. That was like did you guys ever do the founders like scholarship weekend?
No, they didn't.
Or there was like we had to like it was for some full ride at Wyoming Catholic, and so I came and we did like an essay and did some class and an interview, and I was like, I'll knock this out of the park. I had done like academic decathlon in high school and was like good at public speaking, like won a couple like competitions for it and stuff. So I was like, oh, I'll be fine. I prepared my speech going in, and And then I got up there and in front of a bunch of professors and like totally flopped.
Hmm.
And I got to the point, similar thing, where I just forgot everything I was going to say. So I just stood before him and I was like, yeah, I just totally forgot what I was going to say. So let me remember it real quick. And then like dove back in. Oh, well, I guess that's going to be elimination for the
Right,
team.
right. Guess I'm not bringing home that full ride. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, mom, dad.
That's right.
Don't quit. Don't quit the job.
Yeah, yeah, keep your day job. Yeah.
Yeah, gonna need you to support me in college after all.
Gosh, yeah, yeah, but
Dang.
it's
Public
it's
speaking's
nerve-wracking.
tough.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It can be. Just gotta imagine they're toddlers. I don't like the whole imagine they're naked thing. That's kind of weird.
Oh,
I mean, you
yeah.
imagine everybody you're talking to is 4-year-olds and it makes things a lot easier.
That does help.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's
yeah,
funny.
Yeah.
yeah. But I feel like,
Yeah. I've always wanted to tell someone like if they're saying like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm just going to imagine all of you in your underwear." And I've always wanted to shoot back. If you're going into your speech imagining everyone in their underwear, I'm not going to wear any. And I've just never had an opportunity to say that to anyone. And I've just been sitting on this thing for 10 years wanting to say
I'm
that.
glad you got it out. Yeah, that's good.
It's fun. It's very funny in my head. Yeah.
I know. You're gonna have to deal with it up there.
Yeah, 4-year-olds. Okay, I like that.
Yep,
Yeah, that probably gives you some good energy, makes you
totally.
extra friendly, makes you more engaging, good eye contact. Honestly, imagining them all as 4-year-olds.
You have to keep them excited,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
guilty.
You have to be the most interesting thing in the world,
Totally.
or at least in the room.
Yeah, you better know some magic tricks because they
Mm.
love that.
Have you ever done like stand-up comedy?
No.
Oh man.
Have you?
I've never gone to like a comedy show, but I have done like speeches for humor, like trying to get the
Okay.
laugh.
Yeah.
And it's another layer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
like you're trying to elicit laughter. Like
Yeah,
it's more than just it's hard. I can't say that I always did it super well, but
totally. Yeah.
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 Yeah, trying to get a joke to land with a whole audience is
It's tough.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, but the comedians are the true heroes of our time. So,
Oh yeah. No, well, the truth tellers, right?
absolutely. Yeah. It's so true.
Yeah. That's what I've always really admired about uh some of my favorite comedians. I mean, I think actually Chris Rock was one of the best at this. Is that he really pulled the kind of like what I was talking about that immigration judge earlier
Hmm.
before we went on is like I think Chris Rock actually had a pretty good talent for not taking a political side, but
Yeah.
actually telling the truth about
Love that.
things.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. He and I do think comedians do bear a really important responsibility in our culture to to tell us the truth about ourselves, right? Like sort of like the king has a jester,
Yeah.
right? To be able to make a point, but with a rubber sword,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, allows you to make your point. What do they say? Humor is like a rubber sword, and you can make a point without drawing blood.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but a democracy needs comedians because you
Yeah.
need to speak to the people.
Right. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this last election was, I'm not going to dive into politics, but I think the last election was 100% influenced by the comedians. I think,
Oh, you're thinking like Theo Vaughn and Mark Norman and
sure, yeah,
Andrew Schultz.
totally. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shane Gillis, like, have you seen his like Trump impression?
Yes, I
It's
have.
unbelievable.
Good.
It's so good. But no,
Yeah.
I think, and then just like their dialogues about like different politicians. I think it all played a role, but
Wow.
I don't know. It's just super interesting. Yeah, they're the truth tellers.
Or Kill Tony too.
Yeah, Kill Tony. Yeah, huge one.
He was doing that Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
that
my
was so
gosh,
funny.
it's so
He was like, "There's a pile of garbage floating in the ocean. It's called
oh
Puerto Rico."
my gosh,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah,
And the Puerto Rico loved it. That's only
totally.
they thought it was so funny.
Yeah,
I thought it was hilarious.
I thought it was hysterical. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Love 'em.
Kill Tony. But yeah, Shane Gillis. Yeah, Shane Gillis is my favorite
Yep.
of I guess I'll call it the new generation.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guys coming in the like post CK, uh, yeah, the post CK world.
Yep.
Yeah, so Mark Norman, Theo Vaughn, Shane Gillis. uh, Andrew Schultz. So Matthew Rife, but Matthew Rife's kind of a bit of a different style for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all part of this weird world of podcasts
Mm.
and I mean basically just podcasts.
Hmm.
So
Well, yeah,
yeah.
sort of unchanneled, not uncensored, unchanneled media, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
once upon a time, all media was channeled through certain, very, very certain and very controlled fonts, right? Like you had to get onto the Late Late Show, or you had to get onto Letterman, or you had to get onto Conan
Hmm.
to reach a wider audience. But
Even though it's
now,
censored, like
yeah,
yeah, and now it's not. So do you guys think that's what kind of draws people to the podcast is the lack of censorship or I don't know, what is it?
I think it's the authentic curiosity of the speakers talking to each other
Sure.
because it's not a script.
Yep.
And I think we grew up on TV, it was always you expected the same answers and the same questions.
Yeah.
So you never felt like you actually heard what the person was actually thinking.
mm,
Yeah, or who they were. Yeah.
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah. I mean, you can still see the like censored stuff, different people on different podcasts that have their agendas, but
mm.
I mean, it's cool seeing people that go in and they're just like, you just see them like drop their shoulders and they're just like, all right, we're just here to talk.
Yep.
And that's really special. Yeah.
Yeah, the long form ability seems to help. That right,
Mhm.
that you can stay on a topic for an extended period of time.
Yep.
I think that helps.
Yeah.
So to help with my like Spanish, like my Spanish learning, like I'll listen to the news in Spanish,
That's great.
and it's it's great for Spanish because it's repetitive.
Yep.
They talk about the topic, but they show the same footage over and over again. So you have these like very strong visual cues.
Yeah.
Like
That's
it's
awesome.
as a learning tool, like Telemundo is fantastic,
Oh, I
right?
bet. Yeah. That's
It was
really
funny. I
cool.
had this Uber driver who was a native Spanish speaker, and I was talking to him. He's like, "Oh, never listened to BBC, BBC El Español or Telemundo." He's like, they've all got an angle, they've all got a pitch, they've all got a slant. And I said to him, I'm not, I'm not really listening. I'm listening for the language. You know what I mean? Like I'm not really listening for this slant that they have,
Yeah.
but because it's really good enunciation, somewhat simple story structure,
Yes.
repetitive video footage, like as a learning tool, it's fantastic.
Yep.
Uh, as like a way to experience the world, it has some really obvious limitations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean,
Oh.
what you're talking about, it's like very childlike.
Hmm.
You have to like become a child to learn
Mm.
a new language. And
Yeah.
over and over and over again, like these people that know 8 languages, it's like it's cool because they've just become a child 8 times. Like
Hmm.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you have to do that to learn a new language.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
It's so hard.
yeah, it's super challenging.
It's so hard because, yeah, I mean, a child has this enthusiasm about things that's a little bit difficult to emulate as an adult,
Yep.
right? Yeah, a child will just try saying things
Yep.
and they will mess up.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
it's so hard to do that as an adult.
Oh, it's crazy.
You're
Yeah.
like, here, let me do the basic, a super basic thing in your experience. I'm going to try to communicate with you. I'm going to mess up the vocabulary, the syntax, the grammar, the pronunciation, the rhythm, the cadence,
Yeah.
and the meaning. You're going to have to put up with me.
Right. It puts a lot on other people too. Yeah. That's
Exactly, exactly. I think as an adult, that's one of the toughest things is you do realize that getting people to practice the target language with you is a bit of a burden on them.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you do become aware that like, do you really feel comfortable asking people to make that accommodation for you?
Yeah.
So,
But I think people love helping.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's like an overly optimistic view of humanity,
A
but
lot of people do.
I just think a lot of people do.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people do for sure.
Yeah. And
So,
there's the impatient ones, but yeah.
yep. Yep. Well, and I've run into those people.
Oh, yeah.
I was in Argentina one time and I was trying to like we got off the airplane and we were trying to get our car rental and I was trying my best in Spanish and after like five, no, not even 5 minutes, after like 45 seconds, right, of me flailing, the guy just said, I speak English.
See,
And so we proceeded with the rest of the conversation in English. Yeah.
it's real.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, and I think, but like a child, you have to be sort of somewhat immune to those more discouraging experiences. Just saying, okay, all right, that guy wasn't someone who wanted to help. That's okay. So the next person does. And you
Yeah,
know what? The next person did, right? 20
for
minutes
sure.
later, I was talking to someone else in Spanish, and they were like really helping me along,
Yeah,
and it's, yeah, yeah, man, you do have to put your dignity aside.
yeah, for sure.
So,
The other interesting thing, I'm just thinking about this with like kids,
mm,
even learning English, like every kid has their own dialect.
mm,
And um I just my friends they're um yeah, all of my friends with kids, like all of their kids have a different dialect, and I go over to Mary and Dane's house and I cannot understand their kids for the life of me. And then I
uh-huh,
go over to Marlene Gavin's and like Reed has this different dialect, and I just, I understand certain words, but I don't. And then I ask mom and dad, like, well, what did he say?
mm-hmm,
Like, well, he said this. And I mean, they choose to like spend so much time with their kid so they
mm-hmm,
understand the dialect. And it's
right,
like, you kind of need somebody to shepherd you through it.
mm-hmm,
And I mean, yeah, I think it's true with language, but it also teaches us about life too. It's like you kind of need to have somebody that like walks you through it and can like see what you're saying and understand what you're saying, because
mm,
different people understand things that you say and other people don't. Like, I don't know. It's just super, it's kind of wild, but it's the beauty of parenting. So,
uh-huh.
yeah.
Do you feel like this is something you've experienced with your, like, with spiritual direction? Uh,
Um,
you relate that directly
yeah,
to
for
it?
sure. I think so. Like, um, hmm. Yeah, I mean,
Maybe not what you had in mind, perhaps.
no, I just think yeah, I think it is real that you kind of have to find somebody who speaks your language or is at least like willing to understand your language. Like I was just at um um I don't know. I was mentioning to you before we started recording that I was at dinner with a couple friend of mine, and I was talking to Bets, and like she and I both have similar like ADD brains, and like
Hmm.
her husband David like doesn't really. So we'll be talking and like kind of go from one circle and I'll pick something out and be like, "Oh, I like that. This is similar to that thing." And then like she says something and I'm like, I imagine one thing she said and I'm like, "Oh, that's kind of similar to what you said." And then we just end up going on this like
Pop, 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 pop,
illogical,
pop, pop, pop.
chaotic tantrum.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's just like David at a certain point he just gets exhausted. He's like, "You know what? I'm just going to be in silence. Like you guys just have your conversation." And I like it's kind of interesting because you need somebody that with spiritual direction that can actually like speak your language and
Okay.
walk with you through things and be like,
Uh,
yeah, I mean,
kind of stay with you through your excitements, your depression, your neuroses. Like, is it
yeah,
like your,
totally, and be able
uh,
to like see through all of that stuff
mm-hmm,
and be like, what's he actually saying?
mm-hmm,
Here's the question to ask, and that's what I
right.
see with like a good counselor and a good spiritual director. They're just like, oh, here's what you're trying to say, like.
Okay.
Well, you keep defending this person. You don't have to defend this person. You've defended them your whole life. Like, um, you don't have to like keep justifying yourself. Just tell me how you actually feel, and like be able to see through all those different ways that I think it comes down to, or maybe it comes down to like these different ways that we try and protect ourselves. And a good spiritual director can go in and be like, no, 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 let's stop here and let's look at this thing. So um, like I kind of understand your language, so let's talk about that.
Okay.
Trying to think of
Yeah.
an example, but
Well, yeah, I mean, kind of going back to the first part of the conversation, a good spiritual director is going to, for one thing, they're going to understand your key motivations.
yeah, for
Like,
sure.
hey, honestly, what are your favorite sins?
Yeah, yeah, it's real. Yeah,
Right?
yep. Um,
I had to,
yeah,
Man, I've had to really wrestle with that this year.
Yeah.
Like people have come to me and like someone once offered me something that like let's say in real estate, someone offered me something that I shouldn't take, right?
Hmm.
Uh, it wasn't that hard to turn it down. But upon reflection later, I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't really turn it down because it was the right thing to do.
Mm,
I turned it down because in the narrative of my own story, I'm this upstanding man of honor.
sure.
And like, yes, objectively, I should have turned it down.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Yep.
But to what extent was I really looking for an opportunity to stroke my own ego?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, my favorite sin wasn't that far away. Even though, again, I I did the right thing.
You did the right thing. Well,
Great.
yeah, and that's
How
where,
much self-congratulation happened afterwards?
yeah, that's where the whole honor thing, I think the honor thing can get kind of muddy because, have you guys listened to the book Atomic Habits?
Hmm.
Oh, it's so good. It's
Is
so
it?
good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Sounds
really
like
good. Would
fun.
recommend. But the thing that he talks about in that is the only way to make a habit actually stick is to kind of form an identity around it.
Okay.
And I mean, it's interesting because a lot of my time spent at core was time spent being like, well, I don't want to form these false habits or sorry, false identities. I want to form my identity around like being a beloved son and all these things. But there's the reality that if you know, I want to excel at something physically, I kind of have to identify with it. Like if I want to excel at running, I have to sort of make this identity of like I'm a runner.
Okay.
I run and that's my activity and that's the thing that I do. That's the way I stay in shape. And if that is my identity,
Hmm.
then like even on hard days, like I'm still going to be a runner and I'm
Hmm.
still just going to like get out and run. And that is where like good habits can like come from. But um so
You've
anyway,
done a lot, like you've had a lot of experience through as a core missionary, which means you've been out in the field with hundreds of people.
sure.
Have you run into people who like their identity is like I'm a screw up?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Where do you start with someone like that?
You're probably right. Um like
Oh, damn.
I don't know, like um because if I form this identity that I'm a screw up,
Uh-huh.
what are my actions going to be? It's like if I wake up believing that I'm a screw up,
Uh-huh.
then I'm gonna snooze my alarm and then I'm gonna like make a mistake at work and be like, well, I'm just a screw up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so if I form this false identity, then my actions throughout that day are gonna reinforce that identity.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, oh, this is the identity that I um that I tack onto myself
Mm-hmm.
and want myself to believe.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore like my actions will play into that identity. So to a certain degree, like if I have this false identity that I'm a screw up, I just need to stop saying that I'm a screw up. And it's more nuanced and like definitely harder than just that. But it's like, no, I need to start saying, you know, what would be the opposite? Like I'm a person that gets up when I make mistakes. Like I'm a person um that tries again when I make a mistake, as opposed to just wallowing in guilt and shame of being like, yep, now I'm just a screw up. So that's all I am.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think, what I meant by that, saying, what I meant by saying, oh, yeah, well, you're probably right, is because you have this identity and then you keep doing things that reinforce that identity. So you're going to stay in the identity, like whatever identity that is.
Have you ever been able to challenge, like, have you ever been able to use these outdoor experiences to be someone who can speak to a different identity to someone?
Yeah, I mean,
And is there any specifics, like a specific story that you could share, or maybe not?
let me think. I'm sure there's tons. Just have to like wait for a story to come
Yeah,
up.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
the trouble, but
Yeah. Um, one good story might be I had this kid he was like an eighth grader on an eighth grade trip, and young people are really malleable, and um, so this kid came on this trip, and I think he had this belief that he was I'm trying to remember what the belief really was. Um, just a belief that like he he didn't have the ability to do hard things because he was very like neurotic
hmm
and also super energetic and like kind of ADD. And what did his life tell him? Well, sitting in a classroom was awful for him and like he was terrible at that. And it was just something that he wasn't good at. So what his or the identity that he reinforced for himself was like, well, I'm just not good enough and I can't do hard things. And I've learned that at school. Like school is hard for me and I'm not cut out for this, so therefore I can't do hard things. And so we're like climbing up this Via Ferrata in Moab, and we did this huge long rappel at the end, like 200 feet or something. And I remember um, going down at the bottom of the rappel, and I'd watched him do the whole thing, and he was super scared and wasn't sure if he could actually do it going in. And finally, he gets down there, and we get to camp, and we're looking up at the rappel. We could see the rappel from camp. And I saw him standing there. So I walked over to him and stood next to him. And there he was, like looking up at the rappel with tears in his eyes and being like, I feel like I can do anything. And I was like, oh, you can. You absolutely can. And it was such a beautiful moment of seeing somebody who had an actual experience that contradicted his belief that he had in himself back in his everyday life. And
hmm
he's like, "Oh, I'm actually going to challenge this negative belief that I have that I can't do hard things." And so hopefully like he took that and actually went back into school and like transferred that back to his everyday life. But the way that that came about was he made a choice to come on the trip. He made a choice to do the thing that he thought was hard, that he didn't know if he could do, and he accomplished it with flying colors. Like, and that was the gradual shift. So I think like we take people out of their normal context and put them into a new context with the same beliefs that they have, and let the Lord like take those beliefs and those negative beliefs and pick them apart one by one and just fill those voids with like his own heart for us and his own like love for us and his own identity for us. I don't know if that makes sense, but like, yeah.
how do we how do we let that happen?
Hmm.
Can
I
you dig
mean,
into that a bit more?
yeah, I think just challenge. I feel like I haven't been doing it that well in my daily life. So, uh, but there are little moments like, um, yeah, for myself, it's like I'm just, starting a business, for example,
Mm.
and I just have this belief that I'm not good at administrative tasks.
Uh-huh.
And so I've put myself in the place where I'm in charge of administrative tasks and I have to do the administrative tasks. So it's like I bring this belief that I'm not good at these tenacious tasks, but then I have to do them.
hmm
So it's like I'm forcing myself to do them and I have to like have this interior dialogue of like it's okay. We're going to do this thing. I need to be gentle with myself. We're going to do it as slowly as we can. We're going to ask for help. And like over time in a challenging situation where I have to do the next right thing to like, grow in this belief or change this belief, like with my actions over time, my actions are going to influence my identity because the identity is only, I can believe like, I can believe I'm a runner, but if that belief that like I'm a runner isn't reinforced by like daily running or weekly running or whatever, or these goals, then like my identity isn't supported.
Hmm.
But if my if I believe like I'm a runner and then I can look back at my Strava and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm a runner." Like look
I
at all these times that
I
I
have
hit these
run.
miles. Yep.
Yeah.
Or look at my training log or whatever.
Mm.
It's like, okay, that further reinforces that belief. Or it's like, I'm a beloved son of God. Okay. Like, let's look at the times that the Lord's like helped me back that up, you know? And yeah.
I've always I'm really curious about that
Hmm.
specifically. Something I've had to wrestle with is seeing God as the divine wrestling coach,
Oh, bro,
right?
killing me, dude. This down wrestling. I love it.
Right. Like, yeah, your wrestling coach wants you to succeed. He wants you to get better.
Hmm.
He's probably gonna mostly scream at you
Totally.
about how you done messed up
Yep.
and you need to be better, right? One thing that I've admired with uh one thing that I've admired with many of the core staff is that it does seem that they've had this experience of a sense of sonship or a sense they might say the Father's love. They might say I'm really seen by the
Mm.
Redeemer. Like they're uh, I found that attractive. How how do you think one can make that jump of like, okay, I'm going to obey the law of the Lord because I know it's good for me and I know I should be better. And I know that he cares in, but how do you go from, I know that he cares in the way that a wrestling coach cares that you do better to no, it is the Father. Right. And the
Mm.
Father is, it's more than just someone looking for a certain performance out of you.
Mm.
Yeah. How do you think that experience happens? Have you been able to reflect on that?
That's a good question. Yeah. I mean, it's just not us that makes the jump. That's the thing,
Mm.
is it's like all the Lord's grace to like draw us into his heart and like help us make that jump. Um, to like, oh yeah, no, I actually, the Father's heart is like infinitely caring and infinitely loving and um, infinitely like nurturing, but um, it's yeah, I think I kind of made that jump sort of gradually over time, and I didn't, the Lord like really just put things in my path
Mm.
and situations in my path that help me like wake up and just look at him directly. Like, I remember at one point I was leading a backpacking trip, and I was really stressed about this particular backpacking trip. Um, and we were in the desert and we were hiking with like these 10-liter dromedaries full of water. And
Hmm.
dromedary is like a kind of a canvas bag full of water.
Sure.
So it's like 10 liters, it's like 20 plus pounds of water, which seems like a lot. So like maybe five people were carrying them, and
Yep.
we camped dry for the first night and we're like, we'll find water the next day. And so we run out of water the next morning. So we're hiking for like a couple hours looking for water down this drainage, and and we had run out of the water to the point where like a couple people had half a Nalgene of water each, and like all the dromedaries were empty. Nobody had any water. And I was like, Lord, you drew us here. Like I've been following, your will, your plan. Like this is like your plan for me to be on this backpacking trip with these men. I need you to like support us and like please help us find water. And it was like a really genuine prayer of need of like, Lord, I need you to help me find water.
I
And
don't need you to help me find my vocation.
yeah,
I need you to help me find water.
exactly. I was like, Lord, please love us and help us find water. Um, and even just the call of like, Lord, I need water. Help me is essentially like, Lord, I need you to love me and like support me and carry
Mm.
me, right? and then not 15 seconds later, like my co-instructor looks over and it's like, yo, we found a big puddle, a huge puddle, like clean water all over the place. It was like the only puddle we had seen for like 8 miles. And there was like a tree growing next to it. It was just this beautiful little oasis. I was like, sweet, thank you, Jesus. This is
Mm.
awesome. So um I just think that it takes us putting ourselves in a situation where um where putting ourselves in the situation where we know the Lord is asking us to go, and B, like allowing ourselves to receive the grace that yes, the Lord actually will prop us up and care for us.
Mm.
And that's like those are the places that he's going to show up, because he's not going to show up in those places where we have all our needs met by ourselves, you know? It's like when we don't leave space for him, he's not going to be able to show his face and his care and his love. Like it's only when I'm totally bare and just like, all right, Lord, I'm open to your will, where he's actually going to show up, where we're going to be able to receive it. So, um, I don't know. I don't know if that answers the question, but
I don't know if there's a clean answer to the question aside from one's own
it's totally a
personal
personal journey.
journey,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Right. Uh,
Yeah.
I remember a classmate of mine in college. We were reading, as part of theology, we were reading some spiritual works, and one of the spiritual works we were reading was pretty pretty heavy on the admonishment, right? Like, oh, who are you, wretched sinner, to imagine that you uh, deserve grace or redemption, right? Uh, uh, and I remember thinking when I read it, like, oh my God, I am a wretched sinner. This is terrible. Oh my God. I, yeah, I probably am going to burn in hell, right? Maybe not the best passage for me in my particular place. But we were sitting around Saturday morning and just discussing the readings. And I remember my classmate saying, she's like, man, this was a great reading for me because I got to say, I am just so naturally comfortable with myself that I need a little bit of a goad to make me think, yeah, I need to repent.
Totally.
Right.
Totally.
And I remember sitting there being like, really? You need like, you need like an external reminder of your own lack and your own sinfulness and your own shortcoming. Like you do. Like, geez, I'm Irish. Kind of my own shortcomings are kind of all I think about, you know?
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying is that each of us probably starts off in a different place and therefore needs a different path to that integrated experience of the Father's love, right? Some of us need a little bit more of a goad, some of us need a little bit more of a carrot, some of us need a little bit more of a pat and saying you're doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I clearly need more of a goad. So
Oh yeah.
that's
Yeah.
real. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
But it's good. It's all part of the adventure.
I suppose it is.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Um, golly. All right, we've talked about a lot of the things I've meant to talk about, but we've also not touched on many of the things I was hoping to talk about. So, what adventures do you have lined up for yourself? Like, are you got any big rock climbing or mountain biking or backpacking trips coming up in the near future, or like are you kind of head down working on the business right now?
No, I'm mostly working so that I can get away, and that's real. Yeah, I love working with my hands, but
Hmm.
it's always good to like get away and do good things. So normally at the beginning of October, I would be down in Utah for helping with Red Bull Rampage, but
Hmm.
I opted out of that this year to go on a elk hunt in Alaska.
Yep.
I don't know if I've
Yeah,
told you about this, but
that sounds
No.
fun.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, one of my buddies reached out. He was like a seminarian for a while, and then discerned out and is has been living up in Anchorage. He was a core intern for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he drew a tag on a Fognac Island, so for elk. So he got a little crew together. There's gonna be three of us, and we're gonna like fly into Kodiak and then fly into a Fognac Island on a little bush plane.
Yep.
Um, get out and stay there for like a week, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully get an elk and maybe a couple deer, and then get flown back out on a bush plane. So
Mm.
That's
Who
awesome.
processes the meat? Do they just do it locally, or do you have to like?
yeah, we'll probably or we'll just do it ourselves.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I mean, we're just gonna like have to quarter out the elk and the deer
Sure.
there,
Yep.
and then we'll probably just do as much processing as we can while we're up there. So yeah, it'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. I haven't done too much hunting. But it's funny because have you guys read the Comfort Crisis?
I haven't.
It's really good.
Okay.
I would recommend it. But in the book, he actually goes on an elk hunt in Alaska, and
Mm-hmm.
I probably read that about a year ago, and
Mm-hmm.
then this trip came up, so I was like, sweet, yeah, I'll
Doing it.
totally, yeah, just jumping in with both feet. So it'll be cool.
November,
Yeah, no, or October.
October.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
leaving about a month for that. I don't know when the podcast will come out, but yeah, early
10
October will
days?
be great. So
Yeah, I'll have it up
11.
by next weekend.
Okay.
sweet, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
All right.
I'm
So you're gonna
excited.
have to come back. You're gonna have to tell us about the Alaska,
Yep.
Kenya,
Oh yeah.
other wild
Rwanda.
adventures.
Yeah.
Oh, Rwanda.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah.
were in, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
For sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Damn, we didn't even get to that, but
I
man,
know.
yeah, it's too big to. We'll just have to have you back, man.
Yeah. A lot of travel. I'd love to come back. That'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've covered a lot, but obviously only scratched the surface of what it is we've covered. So,
Mm,
okay. Well, best of luck on your upcoming adventure.
thanks,
We're gonna
man.
want to hear all about it. Thanks for sharing everything you have.
Yeah. Of course. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. Thanks for having me on.
Oh,
It's
it was a pleasure,
good to
man.
talk to you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Come back soon.
Yeah. Thanks.
Cheers.
Cheers. That was fun.